What's up, YouTube? This is going to be Ranked Replay Review, episode number 4, I think. This one was a win on Lipany. I didn't really mean to pick French. I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention to chat. And it was still selected on French from the last game, which was on Prairie. And my opponent picked China, so not a good matchup for French. And this map can, oftentimes, be kind of annoying with the spawns. Now, this one isn't too terrible, but he does have pretty easily defendable base with a few walls and Barbican. Easy walls over here, so... Yeah, not always the best map for French. Easy walls here as well. But, yeah, we had to go with it. I picked French, so that's what happened. And, my first thought process was to, feudal all-in, but, with two town centers, like an early second town center. Just kind of like in the build that I just put out on YouTube for French. But the game plan kind of changed from there, and I'll tell you guys why. So, like, I picked this game to review because, first of all, there's several things I can show you as far as with micro with knights and doing damage with your early knights. So it's kind of building off the French guide I had yesterday, but also I can talk about like how my strategy evolved as the game went on, as I read the situation, and why. So yeah, my first thought process was I'll just build 2 TCs and I'll all-in and feudal, because I don't want to play China in the late game. That was my first thought. So that's what we're going for, the same build that's in the guide. So, by the time my School of Cavalry is finishing, and I'm ready to queue my first knight, I'm moving my scout forward, and I see the Barbican, and I see this wall. And if he gets these walls up, it's gonna be pretty annoying to get into his base and attack. Like, I want my knight to get there immediately and do damage. So, this is something you can do to stop a wall from going up if you scout. If you only have a scout here, you just park your scout right in the path of the wall. And it's actually pretty annoying to deal with if you don't know how to deal with it. And my opponent did not know how to deal with it, so not only am I going to show you guys the trick here, where like now he can't build the wall. His villager will be stuck until he commands it to go build on the other side. And what he could have done in response to this is, there's several things. Like, obviously, if he has a spearman or units, that would be extremely good. He could move his scout over here to attack my scout and then also attack with the villager. Or he could just wall in like this, in kind of like a square formation. So wall here, wall here, wall here. Instead, he doesn't know how to respond. I just keep the scout parked here, and the wall does not go up, and eventually my knight arrives. So I'm able to get into his base. This was big, because I could not path through here without taking... I actually think the knight would just die trying to run past this. Don't try to run your knights around Barbicans. It's not worth it. Yeah, so my knights are able to get in. And in this build, I build 2 early knights. And then I move on to the stone and get a second town center. So, when I arrive, there's nowhere to really do damage just yet. The Barbican, I thought, was protecting his gold. It wasn't quite. So, better scouting would have led me around to the gold to maybe get some more attacks in. But what I see here is villagers on the food. And I'm not actually planning to dive down very far, like maybe just attack a villager and run back. But he's moving every single villager. So what that tells me is that I can get value out of just moving this knight back and forth towards the villagers. So that's what I do. And I take damage to the town center, but he moved every single villager and then had them kill new sheep, and it's a bunch of idle time, and the villagers are bugging out. They're walking around the mill. And I don't immediately know where else to go to do damage again, so I see if he'll move the villagers again, and this time I don't take damage to the town center. So this is just another way, like, you can get value out of your knights, even if you can't get kills with your knights. Is if your opponent is reacting with things like that. So my second knight arrives, and I decide to wrap around and see if there's anything over here. Spearmen are arriving as well. So these first two knights are absolute legends, and you'll see why as the game goes on. But right now, I'm getting my second town center, the stone fort, and as I move my scout around his base, I immediately notice he hasn't even started mining the stone. So I'm already getting ahead. He's getting Song Dynasty, though. My knights are a little bit idle right now. If they would have moved quicker over to the gold here, it would have been better. I don't know what I'm doing, why I decided not to push this gold. I think I was just kind of like focused on stone to see if he was going to move out for it, and placing my town center back here. So I'm able to get a nice safe town center at an extremely good spot here. I mean, this is kind of obscene spot for a town center. 2 berries, a gold, and a deer pack with a giant stone. Yeah, crazy. And I just, at this point, I know that I'm more comfortable if the game extends a little bit, because my second TC is way earlier than his. And the spears are over here, so I think that maybe that's why I decided to... I'm not sure. Who knows what I do with the knights here. We'll see. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Not much is happening right now. He's able to wall this off. I should have maybe kept a knight over here. I'm not sure. I think I probably should have had one knight over here, and then had one knight on this side. But we're just kind of playing a game right now, right? He's overreacting. He's building a lot of spears. I only have 2 knights on the field. And he's continuing to produce spears. And I'm not continuing to produce knights as of right now. And he's still not going for the stone. So I'm very just satisfied with where this is going so far. And yeah, I start burning this, but it would have obviously been better if I could have moved out and found the villager walling out here. It's a missed kill opportunity. And at this point, the knights are actually walled in. And I was pretty annoyed about that. I did not want to lose these 2 knights. So what I do end up doing with these 2 knights is actually kind of insane. I can't believe they stayed alive. This is why I said they're legendary. Meanwhile, while I'm distracting them with these 2 knights still, I'm queuing units forward so I can attack. But he's trying his best to trap these knights, as you can see. And I'm just pathing them with micro so that they don't take damage or take too much damage or die. And he's having to spend a lot of time on this, you know, and I'm kind of used to doing this with my knights, and I'm pretty happy with how this is going, even though the knights aren't really getting much done. He's really distracted by this, and he's overcommitting to the spears. I'm mostly making archers now. And now he's mining the stone. I should have been able to go attack this, but I was just kind of focused on keeping these guys alive, and you can see what I'm doing here with the pathing. I'm just keeping them alive, and all of the spears are just chasing here. And I see an opportunity here, a hole, so move the knights back this way. And my scout is going to die here. And in the front now, I'm trying to get this gate down so I can get other units in to attack. And I think this is the point where I realize he's gathered stone. So, but his TC is extremely delayed now. We're 10.5 minutes into the game. And he doesn't have the wood right now. So, at this point in the game, my economy actually gets really bad. As you can see, I have 1,400 food right now. I don't have nearly enough gold for Castle Age. Yeah, yeah, I'm not spending my food. So this is kind of the result of over-microing these knights, I think, is part of it. But the thing is, if I don't practice microing the knights and managing my economy at the same time, I'll never get better at it, right? So I do manage to end up correcting the economy just in time to save myself, as you'll see. And at this point, I was just trying to find a way out. I realized there's a wall here, and I'm still just kind of attacking in the front. And this is when I realize, oh, he has a much bigger army than me now, because he's been on 1TC producing units. My economy is a disaster, because I've been microing my knights. And, yeah, I'm still not entirely upset with my position, but I know that unless I get my economy straightened out and turn this into units, things might get bad here. So, I'm able to back up in time when I see this, I believe. And these knights are still alive. Like I said, these knights are absolute legends. These are the first two knights I built in the game. They're still alive. Still distracting in the base. And I'm trying to correct my economy right now, and it's actually just, I'm really struggling. I should have really, like, hardcore pulled villagers off food. I have a bunch of idols right here, so that's good to know. And that's probably why my economy is in shambles. These could have easily been moved to the gold, and that would have been massive for me. And so my plan of feudal all-in has pretty much gone away now. At this point, I'm just trying to correct my economy and get to Castle Age. With the amount of food I have, there's no reason not to go Castle Age. And I feel comfortable because I've had 2 TCs a lot longer. I just have to fix my economy, and it's really, really struggling to do that, as you can see. So I definitely should have pulled a lot more villagers to gold a lot earlier. But I now have Chivalry coming through, and this is the point where I'm like, okay, he really has a lot more units than me, and I pull all the way back to here. I was going to build a more forward tower, and I'm still just trying to, like, get this fixed, you know? In the meantime, I've parked these two knights on very low HP in the very far back corner of the map where he has forgotten about them. So my first two knights from the game, still alive, and, yeah, kind of insane. And Chivalry's coming through, so they'll start healing up back here. And he moves out with this army, and I realize I can't fight this. So, this is a mistake I make a lot, and probably a lot of the games that I lose. I'll be ahead on villagers and economy, and you can see I'm finally getting my economy sorted out a little bit and spending my resources, finally. But it's a little bit late. But anyways. Oh, also I go into barracks when he never built a stable, so that was a mistake. But, I'm getting my economy under control, but yeah, a mistake I make pretty often is just taking one bad fight, and that can just lose the game for you, right? Every time. So, I'm pulling all my units back to my base and preparing to defend. It's easier to defend than to attack. You can use your town center to fire with villagers. And, at this point, I know I should be pretty far ahead in eco, so it's okay to go into a little bit longer of a game. And now my knights are healing up back here, which is really nice. So we're just trying to constantly produce units and keep the units we do have alive and ready to take this fight in a second. I am totally okay with giving up on this archery range at this point. There's not much, I don't really have much choice. And while he's attacking the buildings, I'm trying to get in some damage. And right now, I'm just trying to take out spears with the archers and just kind of keep the knights alive. And then they can close in on the Jugunu mass. And his numbers are starting to like be a lot higher than mine. But these are all knights. I have new units popping out right here. And I have range defense upgrade on these. So they're not taking a lot of damage. And I'm able to hold the fight and stay alive. And I'm still 15 economy units ahead, although he is starting to catch up as he got a second TC down. And at this point, my economy is once again in shambles. I have 1,000 gold and tons of wood and no food because I've been distracted microing my army. And I'm trying to rebalance that and fix it. I'm going to speed this up a minute because he's just continuing to mass units in front of my base here. That tower is ambitious from him. I catch a villager out here building a tower. And at some point I had moved this knight out to harass. And he had a spearman or two or something, and one of the knights died. But I still have one of the original knights in this base. And it's kind of just camping this food right now because I'm paying more attention to other things. I should have been able to get it over here, though, pretty earlier and done some serious damage. That would have been really nice. So, I'm moving out with the knights, and I realize, okay, I still don't need to fight this at all, and I pull back. And that knight is able to survive, thankfully. And I'm going Castle Age, finally. So, I go Royal Institute. Guildhall might have been a better choice against China with how the rest of this game goes, but I'm able to move out for the boar and, yeah, get my economy back into a more reasonable place, though I still have way more food than other resources. So, from this point on, I really just want to keep him confined in his base and off of gold, and continue to do as much raiding and economy damage as I can. So I decided to move out with these knights and just take a look at what's going on down here. And he actually has a gigantic army. Wow, I can't believe I held this, so this will be good to see in a second. But I'm just trying to get in a big raid right now. And that actually forced him to pull back his whole army, so just sending my knights back here, I'm able to kill a few vills that were trying to rebuild the gate and destroy the gate, and he's moving his whole army back just to deal with this. I'm idling farms. And I'm pretty sure I'm able to retreat with most of these knights. I was going to... Oh, wow. I ran them straight into the thing. I already have Royal Bloodlines at this point, by the way. Oh, I didn't manage to kill the nest of bees either. But I'm just kind of distracting his entire army with these knights right now, idling the farms. And making more knights at the front here. And at the same time, wrapping another group of knights. Wow, they ran right past the prelate. Embarrassing. But, you see, if the whole army is chasing these knights out this way, then my second group of knights can do a lot of damage over here. And we're killing more vills, we're idling the farms again, and his whole army's going back this way. And now these knights are free to go somewhere as well. And an army that would have absolutely destroyed me in a big fight with Nest of Bees and tons of spears and Shuganu is instead just running back and forth in its base. And that is how you can really use the mobility of mass knights to your advantage. And yeah, I actually just went Imperial Age because I ended up with tons of resources. And Imperial Age Knights are insane, and I know that his economy is probably not the best right now just because of how much idle time he's been having, so I just went for Imperial Age. It was probably a bit greedy, but that's what I did, and I should be mining stone for a keep already, or any second now, if not already. Oh my god, look at the health on those. Wow. Oh, I should have kept these alive, so this is a massive mistake. They could have easily ran out of there. So that was really bad. But still, at the same time, I've now hit Imperial Age. I'm now 30-something economic units ahead, and his whole army that he spent all of Castle Age building has been in his base the whole time. And I have knights parked in the corner once again healing to come raid again later. And I've got a decent army at home as well. And I'm in Imperial Age. So, there's all the villagers on stone, because I went to drop a forward keep. And he's finally moving out with this army. But, yeah, I should have had the Imperial Age. There it is. I should have had that sooner. Imperial Age upgrade for my knights. But that will make a massive difference in these fights to come. And I realize that he's pushing with this massive army at this point. And just back up. I can't take this fight right now. And we're in another situation where we need to hold, but we're ahead a lot in economy. And now I have the Imperial Age upgrade for my knights, which will be really nice. And I built my first keep here on the School of Cavalry. Ideally, if I was playing better, I would have all my military buildings in this area, but you can always build some here afterwards. And these knights are resurfacing from the corner since his whole army had moved out. So we're once again idling pretty much all the farms. Actually, 100% of the farms, and we killed villagers. He has 42 idols right now. And that's just from 3 knights in the base. So he decides to push over here, and instead of, I don't know, like, I guess he didn't want to push over on this side. This gave me time to build up a response army and take a good fight. So I'm just getting more knights. I have elite arbaletiers now, and my archers are not upgraded yet, but... And I have a knight that was going to decap the sacred site, but instead I decide to pull it back to try and snipe this nest of bees, but I end up just sniping it with these knights, I guess. And this fight is very, very winnable. With since I have the elite upgrades on my crossbows and the knights, I don't even have to micro this, although I could have microed this so much better than I did. And it's an easy cleanup. Now I'm an age ahead. His food economy is suffering because I've been raiding it a lot. And we're going to continue to pressure. And a single nest of bees finds my villagers on the gold tier, and I'm able to just clean it up with some knights. So this was the perfect opportunity to move out again with knights and find something to raid. Thought I stopped this tower. Oh, I just built a keep here, so yeah. And at this point, like, I could have been more aggressive with my first keeps, but I instead chose to protect the golds and play for a little bit longer game and try to keep him off gold and kill villagers. But these knights are kind of... They shouldn't be doing that right now, but that's okay. So at this point, I am killing all the gold villagers back here with this group of knights, and my goal is just to kind of keep pressuring with different groups of knights, and also at the same time, get enough stone for a big keep drop and start pushing into the base with siege from the College of Artillery. And look at the farms. Look how many workers are on these farms right now. I don't even know how he has this much food per minute. It'll probably change in a second. It's dropping by the second, the food per minute. And the villagers are moving back out onto the farms, and my knights are kind of trolling. But we will continue to keep the pressure on. And he never took this gold that was kind of protected by Barbican, so probably a mistake from the pressure. And I'm wrapping my knights around back here. And they're on attack moves, so they'll attack these villagers. And now I'm burning a hole in the front. I've got knights on this side doing pressure. And so you know where these knights are going to go? Around back towards this side to pressure. And just pressuring from multiple angles keeps him running around with his whole army, doing nothing with his army, while I'm able to drop a forward keep, get a bunch of production under that keep, and start producing cannons. And the game is kind of over from here. I just am idling the farms again. All of these villagers going idle on the farms is really bad. Even though I lose the knights there, I have more... At this point, I can just do whatever I want. Look at my resources. So I can lose knights, it's okay. And I actually have to delete a bunch of villagers in a second, so I can get more space for more knights. And I'm just going pure knights and siege at this point. Like, he doesn't have anything that's going to beat Imperial Age Knights en masse, and my siege will be working on the front line, and eventually I get a Culverin as well, so that I can snipe any of his siege if I need be. And yeah, he's getting a keep up over here and his whole army's here, but at this point it's like too late to be protecting the farms. Like, the damage is done. So I've already destroyed a village. He's now pop-capped. Or, actually, he's not pop-capped because he's not anywhere near 200 anyways. But, he's having to rebuild, you know, houses and villages in different places. And I'm sieging down the landmarks. That's 2 landmarks down. And we're just always distracting over here. He's got 12 villagers just rebuilding 1 wall. So that is a big waste of time. That's basically 12 more idols in addition to the 17 that are idle. And I'm just not taking this fight in the middle until I feel like I have enough knights. And I really should have sent a couple more knights around here. I'm sure I probably will in a minute. Not sure. But this game's pretty much over. I'm going to fast forward a little bit because, yeah, we're about to just end the game. And this push right here should do it. I just have too many Imperial Age Knights at this point. It doesn't matter that they're spears, because his units are all Castle Age. I have university upgrades and all the blocks. Not all the... I don't have the Imperial Age blacksmith yet. Yeah, units are just better. And I'm just ahead, so even though I'm losing most of these knights, it doesn't matter. I can constantly produce as many units as I want to. And we destroyed 3 landmarks there, and I'm just making more knights for the next push at this point. And he GG's any second. It should be attacking over here, but yeah, he just goes ahead and forfeits because I just have more and more knights streaming in, destroying the landmarks, and he cannot keep up anymore. So yeah, I hope that gives you guys like some ideas on how to use your knights and how to pressure your opponents and distract them, even if they maybe have a bigger army than you. And maybe how to also like adapt your game plans to what's happening in the game. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's any kind of guides you want to see or questions you have about the game, and have a good day.